Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar, Learning to Navigate the Payment Management System. Today's webinar is an ANA webinar that's hosted by the Alaska region. Just so you guys know, we are recording today's webinar so that we can uh, put it on YouTube and make it available to everybody so that they can do it at their convenience. A little bit about ANA is ANA promotes the self-sufficiency for Native Americans by providing the discretionary grant funding for community-based projects and training and technical assistance to eligible tribes and Native organizations. ANA's overall vision is that Native communities are thriving. ANA has a very broad spectrum of programs that they fund to achieve this vision. Today, the Alaska region is the host. We have our regional director, Anthony Chioli, training manager, Angela Camos, myself, Charles Peel, the technical assistance manager, and new to the team this year is our outreach and technology specialist, Lynn Church. She does a lot of the things behind the scene to make our webinars happen. What we do is we provide free training to eligible organizations. The only cost is the cost for travel if you do have to travel. We do try to get out across all of the communities so that we could reach as many of them as we can. Unfortunately, we're not able to get to every single community, so we do try to get to the regional hub areas, trying to reduce those costs for you guys. If you have any questions about anything that we cover today or anything about the administration for Native Americans in general, you could get information from any of the regional TTA Center websites or the national website. We have included the website for the Alaska region, which is www.anaalaska.org. And if you have any questions about how to get in touch with your regional TTA provider, please email me today and I will send you their website. So the big news is that ANA has made their funding announcements available. Congratulations to everyone who was funded. I see that several of the new awards are here today, which is great. Another announcement is that each of the TTA centers is working to schedule their post-award trainings. They haven't officially been announced yet, but they are coming out very soon. Language Projects just completed their national post-award training. So all the rest are going to be coming soon. And I really recommend you go to your regional websites to not only get information, but also to find out when these trainings are coming up. A little plug, if you are in here and your organization did not get funded, there is unfunded technical assistance available for eligible applications. Again, go to your regional website and apply for the technical assistance there. Upcoming events, we have project planning and development trainings for the Western and Eastern regions. Alaska is in the process of finalizing their schedule, and so is Pacific. But if you're in the Western region, you have Albuquerque, New Mexico on October 18th to the 20th, and Las Vegas in November 7th to the 9th. Eastern region is going to be hosting their project planning and development in Minneapolis, Minnesota, November 15th to the 17th. Today's goals is to have an understanding of what the payment management system is and how to utilize it for your convenience, and to know how to request technical assistance should an issue arise through the payment management issue system. So today we are very honored to have TJ Thomas with us. TJ works for the Division of Payment Management and TJ Thomas currently serves as the section chief for the governmental and tribal payment section. She has been with the Department of Health and Human Services since 1998, working in Indian Health Service, and then transferred to the Program Support Center or the Division of Payment Management in 1993. She has a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration with a focus on accounting and a minor in computer science. Now, this is something that we do get a lot of questions on, and as the training and technical assistance providers. So we have a really big interest in this and in learning about the Division of Payment Management and how the process works. A lot of new grantees who have never been a part of the system have questions on how to set it up. And we requested that we do this webinar so that we could work with closer with the payment management system staff so that we could try to really expedite the answering of your guys' questions as they arise. So with that, TJ.
Excuse me. Good day, everyone. Can you hear me good, Charles?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Today, I'm going to give an overview of the payment management system and the federal financial report. All right, so some of the agenda items today give organization establishment and changes, accessing the payment management system, so requesting your access, and then actually accessing the payment management system to obtain your funding, highlighting inquiries that are available to you, then requesting an actual payment, and then the different types of requests we're going to go through, and then also reasons that your request may be denied or flagged for any type of reason. And then we're going to go over the federal financial report, which is in two components. So depending on the awarding agency decides whether you have to do both reports or just one of the component of the federal financial report. Excuse me. So here, I'm not going to read it. Here is just an overview of who we are and exactly what we do. So on the next couple of slides here, I will go into detail exactly what we do and how we interact with you. Excuse me, I am battling a cold this morning. So we're actually, just to let you know, we are what we call a mediator. We always say we work for you, the grantee, and we work for the awarding agency. So we are the middleman. So first, I'm going to go over organization establishment and changes and system user. If you haven't done it already, in order to get established in the payment management system, we would need a direct deposit sign-up form, which we also call a SF1199A. And for international grantees, and I think everybody is domestic here, but if we had international, then they have to submit a different piece of paper to us. And then you need to submit a PMS system access form. And we need an access form for each person who wishes to have access to our system. Even if that individual is just going to do queries only, then you can request for an individual to do queries only. Now, one thing to keep in mind that even if you may have received funding from a non-HHS agency, you still have to submit the forms because agencies do not commingle funds. So all of HHS funding is in one account, but other fundings are in a different account. So if you have other funding from another federal agencies outside of HHS, then yes, you still need to submit the paperwork to us. So once you complete the documentations, and I'll go over those documentations as well, then you need to forward them to our office, and the address is on the screen. So if you know your PMS account number, if by any chance you've been given your PMS account number or if you already contacted your PMS account rep, then please put that account number on the form. And especially if you're new, I recommend that you submit a cover letter saying that you're establishing a new account and here's your documentation. That way we know it is for a brand new PMS account number and not that you're updating or changing an existing one. So those are our mailing addresses that's on the form. First, let's go over the $11.99. One thing you want to keep in mind, if the award was issued to the organization, all the information that's on the form should pertain to the organization. Please make sure the name on this form matches your notice of grant award, especially if the awarding agency have already entered their portion in our system. If what they enter in our system doesn't match what you sent, then that would delay the process of being finalized in our system, and we will contact you to obtain a new form. So Section 1A should be the name of the organization that actually received the form, so that should match the exact name that was on the Notice of Grant Award. Where it asks for name of person entitled to a payment, if the award was not issued to an individual, please put the name of the organization or leave it blank. Section C, it says claim or payroll number. That is your organization's federal tax number, your core 9-digit EIN number. That's what you're going to enter there. Someone from your organization should sign it, and it's just saying that the information you're providing up top is correct to the best of your knowledge. On the right side of the form, you're going to type, select whether it's your checking account or your savings account. You're going to provide the account numbers. And then F, you're just going to mark other, and you can just say grant. In Section 2, put the awarding agency that granted you your award, and then you're just going to put our address for the rest of it, since it's coming to us. Section 3 must be completed by your financial institution in its entirety. If anything is missing, then we will ask for a new form. So please make sure, if you're taking it to them, that before you leave, that they complete. The main thing is the depositor account title that's under the routing number. A lot of times the banks will put checking account. That is not the title on your account. We know it's a checking or a savings. We want to know the exact title. And in 99.9% of the cases, it's your organization's name. So please make sure they complete that, they sign it. I recommend you keep a copy for your records before you send it to our office, so in case anything happens in the mail, or even if you're fax it, you can fax the form to us, or you can email the form to us as well. But please make sure you keep a copy. One of the things we will not accept, if anything looks like it's been whited out as far as the account number or altered or any type of way, we're going to request a new form. If you are stuck or you're not sure when you're completing this form, please contact us so you can get assistance to make sure everything is completed correctly. If internationals, this is just a sample of information we need for those that are internationals, and we just require additional information because of the way we have to transmit funding. Once you have been set up in the payment management system, and this may be for future use if everyone is new to our system, if you're not new and you have to do changes along the way for banking, or if you think you made a mistake or you're changing a bank account maybe in a month from now, that you will always submit a direct deposit sign-up form for any changes that has to do with your bank account. You will always submit that to us. And again, the forms can be obtained on our webpage, which is provided here, www.pms.psc.gov, or from your financial institution, or also on Treasury website, since this is really our official OMB Treasury form. So you can obtain that form in 3 places. So how would you know if you had to update banking? Then there is a query we're going to go over under your payment. It'll tell you a P&T, which is a pre-note. It lets you know that we completed the banking on our part. That's how you know whether we've entered your banking into the system. Even if you're new and you have access, you'll know when we put the banking in our system because it will state P&T. So if for any reason that what the information we have currently in PMS that was registered was incorrect, maybe like your organization's name, or it was it was backwards, or we missed something, we will request a tax letter, a federal tax letter to show us your actual name with the EIN number. So for anything that has changes, you're going to contact your awarding agency, whoever your grants officer. They will input those changes in the system, but we would need documentation. Definitely, if you're changing a name or a tax ID number, then you would need to submit whatever IRS documentations you have that shows your new information. For any type of address changes, you just need to submit a letter to your awarding agency or the grants officer. They will input that information in the system, and we'll get everything updated for you. Access form. So when you complete the $11.99, and we ask you to send the access form with it so we can set your users up at the same time. This is the form and also available on our webpage, and all your forms on our webpage. When you go to www.dpm.psc.gov, there is a box that says Grant Recipient Info. So when you go to Grant Recipient Info, it'll be a lot of information for you. But there is a link that says Forms. When you go to Forms, that's where you will find the $11.99A and this access form that's currently showing on your screen. One of the things we do want to mention is please make sure that all the boxes are filled in correctly. Make sure there's no missing information. So if anything missing, we're going to come back to you and tell you you need to complete it before we can actually give you access information. Make sure the form is signed by a supervisor or someone saying that, yes, this is the access that you should have. And then again, you can fax it to one of our numbers. We actually have a form system, so we ask you to send it to one of our form systems, and it will come directly to us. And then your account representative will be able to view those forms. You also will send this when you're doing the $11.99. If this is the first time you're getting set up, please send both the $11.99 and the access form together, so that way it won't get misplaced, especially if you don't have a PMS account number. And that if it gets separated and we don't have you in the system, we're going to call you and be like, well, we don't have you and we don't have nothing for you. Then we'll ask the reason why you're submitting it. So if it's the first time and we have to get you set up in PMS, send both documentations, the $11.99 and all the access forms. Send them together with the cover letter stating that you are a new organization to PMS. So once we get the form and we process it, then your account representative will email you. They should email you some instructions and also give you your user's name and password. So each individual should receive an email from their actual account rep with their assigned user's name and password. When you submit that information to us, one of the things how you would know that we received it, we do email you when we're inputting the banking information. We'll email you to inform you that we received your forms and we're currently working on your banking information and your access form, and you should allow at least 3 to 5 business days for processing. So probably after 5 business days, then you should start looking for another email with all your access information in it. On the next page is just provided you just instructions for each section so you'll understand exactly what each section is. One of the sections I do want to highlight is section 4, the type of access. Please make sure you know which access you need. So payment request may mean the individual that's actually physically going to do payment requests. The federal financial report, cash transaction report, that is the report that's required by our office, and it depends on how your account is set up. So if you have an account that ends with a P or a G, so most likely a P as in Paul, then you are required to submit that portion of the cash transaction report to us through our system. If the awarding agency established your account as a B, ending in a B, meaning boy, then that means you do not have any reporting requirements in our system. Now for the federal financial report, financial status report, again, it's at the awarding agency discretion whether they want to do that portion in our system. So they should notify you whether they're utilizing the FSR in our system, or will you strictly be using Grant Solutions for your financial status report or some other means to submit your financial status report. So if we are if we're setting you up for both of those reports, then you will know because we'll give you access to both. So read-only access means that that's the individual that all they're able to do is queries only. They can't do any reports, and they're not able to do any payment requests. You can have a combination where you have somebody who's strictly doing reporting and somebody who's strictly doing payments. So when you complete the form, you just need to state which access that individual needs to have. Again, just to reiterate where you send your forms to, again, you can fax the forms. However, I recommend you can fax the forms to one of the numbers there. You can also email your account representative and let them know, here's your paperwork for your new account. The complete cycle may take up to 10 business days. It all depends on how the heavy loads we get for new accounts. Right now it's kind of died down since we just finished government fiscal year end. So it may take less than that. So we can complete them within 5 business days, but sometimes it may take longer depending on the volume and the time of year. You will receive notification once everything has been completed. And again, request be submitted for if you have any updates, changes, or deletions. We're now going to go over system access and the inquiries that are available to you through our system. To access the payment management system, again, you're going to go to www.dpm.psc.gov, and at the top of the page, you're going to click on Payment Management System Login Link. One of the things we do always tell you, please bookmark at the home page. We put a lot of information at this page. Review messages, because we put a lot of information there, whether we're closing, not early, but if it's a federal holiday, let you know what time the system will be open. We're usually open 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., the system, but on holidays, the system may be open only from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So we will put all that information directly on our homepage, so we make sure you read that when you're accessing the payment management system. So once you click on that link, then it's going to take you to a screen that looks like this. So if it's during our normal hours of operation, then the screen at the top, it will say available. If you're trying to access our system during non-business hours, then the sample below will say unavailable. So again, we're open Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., and the system is open on the weekends, no staff, but the system is open on the weekend unless it's down for maintenance. But again, if it's outside of our operating hours, you will get an unavailable message. So since now we're requesting funds during our normal business hours, then you're going to click Payment Management System because it's available. And then when you click there, then it's going to take you to another screen. At this point, it's going to ask you for your user's name and your password. The user's name is what was provided to you by your account representative. And if it's the very first time, you will receive a temporary password. So you will enter that password, but then once you go into the password, you will have to change it. So we're going to enter our username and password. One of the things that we highly recommend you not to do is to click on the button that says Remember My Credentials. That is not part of our system. It's maybe part of your network, and it changes your password to what we don't know. So please make sure you don't select that. If it shows Remember the Credentials, please don't select that option. So I've typed in my user's name and my password. Username is case sensitive. We always give it to you all caps, no spaces. Once you enter it, the very first sample says your password is temporary. You must change it. So, and then the bottom one, say this is the third time you went in, then it will let you know how many days before your password expires. Please don't wait until day 89 to try to access the system. It may have locked you out, and then you got to ask for another reset password again. So please note how many days before your password expires, and please make sure you go change your password before those days expire. So we're going to go ahead and click on the bar that says click here to access. And then once you do that, you are actually in the payment management system. So before we go on to the payment management system, I'm going to go through some queries that are available to you. So you have 4 queries that will be available to you. The first type of query that you're able to do is account balance data, and that will let you know your grant award information, your payments made, and your funds available, whatever's remaining on that particular grant. The second query that is available to you in our system is authorization transactions. It will provide the award amount, the budget period, so the start and end date of your award, and the date it was actually posted to the payment management system. The third query is the payment data. This is a history of all payments that you made on that particular PMS account. And we do it whether it shows all your deposits, any rejections, any returns. Your summary grant data, if you are required to do the federal financial report, which is the first component, the cash transaction report component, it will also give you a list of all your expenditures that you reported on those reports. For any of the inquiries, you can do your inquiries at the account level, or you can do it below that at any one of your award levels. So you can be specific as well. So now we're going to do request payment. So since you did your query, we'll say we did my query, and I looked for my account balance, so I'm good. I still got this amount remaining on my grant. So now we're going to go and actually request a payment. So a couple of things to note, that you can make your payment request as often as you need it, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, bi-monthly. But one thing is funds must be spent within 3 business days. This is not our rule. We follow all rules and regulations of the Department of Treasury, and where we're getting that information from, we provided it on the screen in a blue box. That is where we're getting that circular information from, so directly from them. So we act as a cash management agency here, so we do monitor your funding that's going in and out of this office. So once you're in the system, you will have inquiries. So we went over the top portion that says inquiry. So now we want to do a payment. So you're going to click on payment and then request for payment, and then it takes you to the next screen. For those that may be cash flowing account, because I'm not sure exactly how your ordering agency have you set up, I'm going to go through two different types of ways for requesting payments. So this one is what we call a cash flowing account. These are non-sub-accounted accounts. So you'll have account number, and it may end with a G or G1, and you enter your account number, and then you select account. Before I move on, one of the things I do want to state, if you are requesting funds past 5 o'clock, and as I said, we're open until 11, past 5 o'clock, that we treat that as the next business day. So if you're expecting your funds on, we'll say you came in today at 5:15, there is no guarantee that it made that schedule, that last schedule at 5 o'clock when we close the schedules. So that means that your payment will not be sent until Friday, which means you will not actually receive the funds until the next business day, which is Monday. So your payments are always in your bank account within 24 hours unless there's a hold or restrictions or there are some other issues that are going on. But in most cases, that you do your payment today, and then your funds are in your bank the next business day. So I enter my account number and I select account. And if this is the very first time you're requesting a payment, then the information field here will be blank. So that means your name and the area code and your email address will be blank. You're going to fill that in. So we need to know the person requesting the funds. So it should be that person who's their own access is accessing that information. You're typing your information in, because if there's any issue with that payment, we need to contact you. So we need to make sure that the information is correct and updated here. Your payment due date is always the next business date. The system recognizes holidays and the weekends. So we're asked for expected disbursement amount. That is the amount that you need to pay as far as invoices. The cash on hand amount to us means the amount you have remaining from a previous payment request. So if you're new to PMS, this is your first request, we know you have no cash on hand. This is your very first request. The payment request amount is the amount you actually want to receive in your bank account. So the sample here, I have $6,700 worth of invoices in front of me to pay. I have no cash on hand, so the amount I want transmitted to my bank is $6,700. So once I complete that, filled in everything, I'm going to click continue. And then you receive a screen that looks like this. The review screen would give you a synopsis of everything that you entered on the previous screen. It's going to give you whether you have expired funds or unexpired funds. Again, if you're brand new for that grant, of course you won't have no expired funds. So in transit means if you did a payment, we'll say at 9 o'clock and now it's 3 o'clock, and you realize you need another, need to request another payment for invoices. In transit means that first payment may not have gone all the way through, and it's meaning just that is in transit, is in transition to go on the bank schedule. It will show in column C. Total funds is just a calculation, A plus B minus anything you have already requested, and then it's going to show the amount you actually requested. So this is your review summary screen, and once you review everything, you're going to click request payment. Now, one thing is, before you do any screen, if you need any screenshot in PMS, you must print it before you hit the button. Because once you hit the button to go to the next screen, you cannot go back to obtain that screen. So once I review this, and I'm going to click Request for Payment. And then here you're going to get a message that says Done. So at this point, the payment has now been submitted through the payment management system. The next type of account you may have what we call non-cash pooling account, and these are sub-accounts where you're going to tell us exactly where you're requesting your funds from, so you can request grant by grant basis. So your account number will end either in a B1 or P1 or B2 or P2. And so we're going to enter your account number, and then you're going to click Account. Again, the same thing, you're going to enter your information. If this is the second time, it will already be there for you. Your payment due date, again, is always the next business date. The expected disbursement in here is $5,600. My cash on hand is $0. And the amount I want transmitted to my bank is $5,600. Once you enter everything on this screen, you're going to click Continue. And at this point, you're going to be able to see several grant awards that are available to you. So whatever grants that you have, if you have more than one, you will see them there. So you select one or two, however many grants you want to request from. You make your selection, and then you hit sum amount. At this point, you're going to tell me for each one of the sub-accounts that you have selected, how much are you requesting from each one to make up that total that you told me. So here on this screen, I requested $5,600. So I broke down how much is coming from each one of my grants to make up that $5,600. So once you do that, again, if you need a print screen, a shot of it, then print it. Then click Request for Payment. And you're going to get a summary screen. So here it breaks everything down for you. And at this point, it also gives you messages. So this particular sample shows that this payment request is in a holding file. The transaction number for future reference is blah. One of the things I can tell you, when you contact our office regarding the payment, please do not give us a reference number. We cannot look that number up at all. That reference number is just for you, stating that you did this request through the payment management system. That's all. It's just a record keeping for you. Anytime you're wanting updates or information regarding your account, always give us your PMS account number, your PAN number. That is how we look up all your information. So here it says payment request in a holding file. This means your payment has been routed to your account representative for review. And if there's not an issue with your payment, they will release it. If there's an issue, then they may contact you. It may be, again, it's flagged for some reasons, and we're going to go over those reasons shortly. So at this point, you can review and print out your review screen and then click Done. Again, you should always get this message, Done Transaction Complete. That means this payment has been submitted through the payment management system. Here we're going to see different types of payment requests that you can submit. You can do advance payment requests. So if you do an advance request, so again, your expected disbursement, whatever much invoice you have in front of you. So this sample, my amount is $5,000. I have no cash on hand, so the amount I want in my bank account is $5,000. The second type of account is a combination request. A combination request means that you have invoices in front of you to pay. In this case, I have $5,000 in invoices to pay. I have $1,000 cash on hand, which means I paid an invoice on yesterday by using some other funds, but I now need to reimburse my program. So that means I have a negative cash on hand of $1,000. So the total I need in my bank account is $6,000. The last type of request that you can submit is a reimbursable request. Your expected disbursement amount is zero because it lets me know that you have already paid the invoices. So you've already paid it. You used some other means to pay it. You just want to get your money back, reimbursing yourself. So if you're doing this, your cash on hand in this sample is a negative $5,000. That automatically lets us know that, oh, they already paid their invoices or their bills. They're now trying to reimburse their program. So here, your cash on hand is negative $5,000. Your payment request is $5,000 because that is the amount that you wish to receive in your bank account. So again, these are the three types of payment requests that you are able to submit in our system. One of the things we see a lot, when you're doing this, please make sure you're not giving us information that pertains to your grant. A lot of times, as I stated, the cash on hand means the amount remaining from a previous payment request or amount you have left over, or if you paid your invoices already and now your organization's in a hole, then that's to know, well, my grant was for $50,000, so my cash on hand is $40,000, meaning, oh no, that's $40,000 I have left of the grant. Please don't give us that information. We know that information, and we can look up that information. These are reasons why your payment can be denied or it hit a holding file. So one of the reasons is agency restriction. So your awarding agency or your grants officer, someone should have notified you whether or not your particular grant, the account, or a specific grant has been restricted for some reason. So we cannot release a payment without either approval to release that restriction or some type of documentation from the awarding agency to say, yes, we can pay that request. If we are rejecting it for some reason, you will always get a notification from us that your payment was denied and for what reason. Expired grant funds, the system has an automatic check regarding expired funding, which means 90 days at the end of your budget period. That's the amount of times we give you to do request funding. However, if you go outside that 90 days, you can still submit your payment request. However, we cannot release funding until the awarding agency gives us an approval. We notify the awarding agency by email to let them know, here is the payment request that was submitted, and please let me know if we're able to release it. So again, we release it if we get the approval, if we get a rejection from the grants officer, or they're not coming back to us within the 3 business days. Sometimes we allow 4 business days from the receipt of the email, then we will reject it and you will get a notification. The system has an automatic reasonableness check. So if it doesn't meet some of our edits, it may get, your payment request may get routed to the holding file. So again, if we look at the payment, if there's no issue, then we'll release the payment. Late reporting can also cause your payment to be delayed or rejected. Excess cash on hand, we monitor your FFR report to see whether or not you have excess cash on hand or are you continuing carrying that excess cash on hand. Then we start flagging your account and we monitor that every quarter, and we would not release funds until you provide a reasoning why you're holding that excess cash on hand. And then, depending on the agency, for some federal agencies, we have what we call agency proven and confirmed. The next section is the Federal Financial Report, FFR 425. I'm going to go over the first component, which is the cash transaction section, and this is how you report disbursements on your grants. Again, you will be granted access to this depending on the type of account the awarding agency has you set up. So if it's a P account or G account, then yes, you're going to be doing this component in our system. If it's ending with a B, then you are not going to complete this in our system. So the FFR in our system consists of two parts, the cash transaction report and the financial status report. Your cash transaction report is due 30 days at the end of the quarter. So we provided the quarter dates for you. So right now we're currently in the quarter ending September 30th, and their reports are due on or before October the 30th. You can make adjustments to your report at any time before the deadline date. And again, if your report is not filed on or before the deadline date, we will freeze your funding until your report has been submitted. Once you're in the system and logged in, you're going to have a link that says disbursement. So under disbursements, you're going to have a link that says FFR Cash Transaction Report. You're going to type in the assigned payee account number, your PMS account number that we provided, and you're going to select the reporting periods. I always do all. You're going to leave everything else the way it is, and then you're going to click on Continue. Here from the drop-down menu, depending on what you requested on the access form, whether you're going to be a preparer or a certifier or you're doing both of them. I'm sorry, I think for the cash report, you prepare or a certifier, so you're both. So in-house, you have to decide whether somebody's going to do different functions when it comes to the cash report. So here, I'm a preparer and a certifier, and I want to work on my report. So one of the things I do want to notice, if for any chance you missed a quarter, it would be an X instead of maybe a P or an N. You cannot go back to complete a past report if you miss it. Even though we generate the reports quarterly, you are going to report cumulative expenditures so that the current report overrides the previous report. So if we say you missed a report the June report, and you did a payment today, we're going to tell you you have to do this quarter's report to be compliant. You don't have to go back to June, because the June report, once we generate the next quarter's, that past report is no longer available for you to prepare. You can only view it and print a past report. That's it. You cannot go back and submit a past report for the cash transaction report only. So here you're going to want to prepare and certify, and it's going to take you to this screen. Even though it takes you to this page, this is not page 1. So the first thing you're going to do at the top on your page is you're going to click on Report Disbursement. So there's a button that says Report Disbursements, and when you click there, it's going to take you to the next page. So in box 5 is going to be a listing of all your active grant awards. And what we mean by active grant awards, that means that award is within the start and end date of your budget period. For each grant listed, on the right-hand side, the far right, you're going to tell us from the time the grant started through the end of the quarter, how much of that grant have you actually spent. Don't tell me how much we paid you. We know how much we paid you. We want to know how much you actually spent. You can spend more, less, or the same, but the system will let us know whether you're on a reimbursement basis, or you're dollar for dollar, or you're an advanced organization. So again, we want to know from the time the grant started through the end of the quarter, how much of that grant have you actually spent. Even if you spent your own funding, you actually spent something on that award. That's what we want to know. In the second column, it says recipient account number. That is for your use only. You may know the grant number by a different name, So if you have, as for example, on the screen, this is grant 2794, but they in-house, their books, they have a grant, their code is CN. You can name it whatever you want to name it. Medical supplies, it doesn't matter. We're going to retain that information for you if that helps you to identify those, each individual grant. The authorization amount showing is the authorization amount in the payment management system at the time we generated the report. So if you received, for again, we're doing September 30th report. However, say that you receive additional funding on October the 2nd, you're not going to see it on a September 30th report. You won't see it until the December report is generated. However, when you go to request funds in PMS, PMS is more live, then you will see the authorization increase there. So again, the authorization that's pulling on your report is whatever's showing at the time we generated that report. The next column is prior cumulative disbursement. If this is your first report, then that column will have all zeros. So if this is your second report, it's pulling the information that you reported in the last report. If for any reasons you make a mistake and this is your second report, well, let's say, oh no, I overstated last quarter. Again, all you need to do on the current report is to make sure that the expenses you reported are accurate to date, and to date means through the end of that reporting period. Excuse me. The system takes the prior cumulative disbursement column total and the cumulative federal column total, and it subtracts the two to give us a net for the quarter. So where you see total should correspond to amount on line 10B, that actually gets pulled to the first page automatically. Excuse me. So that would be what we consider what you actually did for the quarter. So once you input all that information, it'll take you back to the first page. If for any reason you have inactive grants, and inactive grants, we mean that it's past the budget ending date in our system, then you're going to get an error message that say you must review these inactive grants. So again, you probably knew you don't have any inactive grants, but this is just for informational purposes only. If you do have an inactive grant, there is a drop-down menu on top of box 5, and you're just going to click on those grants, and it's going to reactivate them to the listing in box 5 in blue. And then you're going to do the same thing that you did for your active grant. You're just going to give me an update of your disbursements for each one of those grants that you reactivated to go to the box in 5. Again, once you do all that, it takes you back to the beginning of the period. It'll take you back to the beginning of the page, and that from here, it'll let you know that we're going to start with cash receipts. Cash receipts mean that is the beginning, is the actual calculation. That means that it takes the ending cash on hand from a previous quarter's report plus or minus any funds received during the quarter. So once it does that, you're going to get a calculation on 10A. So again, 10A cash receipts does not mean the actual receipts that you receive for the quarter. It is a calculation, and again, that calculation is the ending cash on hand from a previous report plus or minus any funds received during the period. 10B is going to be automatically filled in from the the first screen we did, that total I did at the bottom, that automatically populates 10B. 10C, you are going to calculate, which is 10A minus 10B. Make sure that you do that correct calculation, because the system will tell you you're incorrect if you don't. If it's supposed to have a minus sign, please make sure you put a minus sign next to it. One of the things I do want to point out that we get a lot of calls on the report under 6A, it says report frequency. It will always be quarterly. The cash report is always a quarterly report. Where it says report type, it is interim report. We do not have finals for our report for cash report. It is always interim report, and it cannot be changed. The basis of accounting is cash, because this is the cash report, and we are only concerned with the federal portion only. So just want to reiterate that 6A, 6B, and 7 will automatically stay as is, and that cannot be changed. So once you complete 10C, if it's a minus sign, you're fine. If it's a positive number, the system will automatically tell you that you need to provide an explanation. Why do you have these excess cash on hand? So in box 12B, you're just going to place your remarks. So you may have requested funds at the end of the quarter. So if you did that, you can just say funds are due to payroll. That's fine, but you must give an explanation why you have those cash on hand. Then we're going to now start our certification process on the report. So under 13B, you're going to type in your name. Just type it in online. The system is going to populate certain fields automatically for you. So once you do your online certification, you're going to go down and click the button that says Certify. And when you go to Certify, you're going to get an information box. You're going to read this box. If you agree, click OK. And then under 13B, we're still certifying. You're going to get another little teeny box, and you're going to check that little box. Once you check that box, you're going to get another box at the bottom. Notice the button says switch from certify to submit. Then you're going to click submit. Once you click submit, you should get the message certified transaction complete. If you do not get this message, that means you missed a step along the way. The next component is a financial status report. And as of right now, these are the only awarding agencies or federal agencies or HHS out there that are currently utilizing the FSR in our system. We actually do not go through the entire process of the financial status report, since we're not sure who all does what. So at this point, if you all will be required to do the report, then they can do another session. We can do strictly for the FSR, or you can always contact the awarding agency or your account representative regarding the financial status report, since really that is not our report. It's just being done in our system. So that is the second component of we call the FFR, and again, everyone doesn't do it. So we usually state that for assistance, please contact your grants officer. But if you're utilizing our system, we can help you navigate. But when it comes to certain things that you need for the FSR, we can't tell you about your matching funds or your rates. So because we don't get that information here, so we always tell you contact your grants officer for that type of information. So that is the overview of the payment management system. Again, if you have any questions, I believe your actual account representative is Katja Proctor. But if you have any assistance, one of the things we do, we have our PMS help desk, Usually I recommend that you call your account rep because they are the ones who actually knows about your account. And Koch's alternate is Miss Regina Mitchell. And then you can always contact me as well on the training team. And then we can also assist you any way we can to get you set up in the system for those that are new. If you need help navigating anything in the system, please don't hesitate to contact our office. And of course, we always have more information or detailed information on our website as well. So at this time, I can take any questions. So Charles, I guess I'm not sure I can turn it back over to you and open it up for questions.
We'll open it up for questions. If any of you guys have anything specific that you would like to ask, please type it in the chat box. First question is by Deborah. Where can we find a copy of the PowerPoint? We will send out a locked PDF so that you could have a copy of today's presentation, as well as since we did record this, our outreach specialist will edit the video to kind of cut out some of the pauses, and we will publish this on YouTube and put links on our website, on Facebook, as well as the national website. Next question, do we have to file a FFR and PMS if we are filing a manual one with our granting agency? EJ?
The answer is that depends on the type of account you have. So if it's your account ending in a P or a G, the answer is yes. You will have to do it in our system as well as manually.
Okay, is there any other questions? Well, real quick, we'd like to kind of give a recap just so you guys know that ANA does provide free training and technical assistance for eligible applications. The payment management system is here to help with your guys' paperwork and getting you set up in the system. You have to contact the help desk that they have by visiting their website. And lastly, we do provide a plethora of resources, guides, and short videos on how to effectively manage your projects on each of our websites. Each region has their resource tools as well as the resource library on the national website. So we've already gone through the questions. Lastly, when I close out, it's going to bring up a evaluation page for you guys to fill out an evaluation regarding today's webinar. Please give honest feedback because it helps us to improve our systems, improve the content, as well as it gives us insight as to who you guys would like to see as presenters from across the government spectrum regarding your ANA projects. If you have any general feedback that you'd like to give ANA, go ahead and email anacomments@acf.hhs.gov. And again, thank you for participating. We put these webinars on for you guys to really try to provide you guys the tools necessary to implement your project. So these are done for you guys. We really hope you guys are learning things from them. And this is my little screen that I designed a couple years ago. It's really, it's all the different ways of saying thank you in the various um, native languages in Alaska. So again, thank you. And with that, we will stop the recording